Stoicism, pleasure or pain. For people who are not aware of the philosophy of Stoicism, those who practice it might be considered emotionless and killjoys because respectively they do not allow themselves to mourn when in pain and they avoid the feeling of pleasure. For those who fully understand the lives of Stoics, they know that these individuals are severely misunderstood, and it's getting alarming day by day. So, what really is Stoicism? Let's start with the basics. It is a systematic Hellenistic philosophy that was began by a certain Zeno of Citium in Athens. Initially, it was called as Zenoism from the founder's name himself, but later on adapts the name of a open market Stoa Poikile, which was the rendezvous of the first Stoics, wherein they taught their beliefs to other people. Surprisingly, this philosophy is still being practiced nowadays, and in the 21st century, even took a similar form of the psychological treatment, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, where the main goal is for patients to develop a certain thinking behavior in response to their hardships so that their emotions can be adjusted, mainly to reduce their levels of anxiety and depression. So, what do Stoics think of pleasure and pain then? For starters, Stoics seek to gain control over their emotions. The main idea of their philosophy is to be able to feel both pleasure and pain without succumbing to their damaging effects. Both of these are temporary, and that is a fact. According to the Roman philosopher Seneca, the pleasures that we experience in life should be acknowledged, but also be viewed with doubt of their permanence. And thus, we should be ready to part with them whenever their ephemerality manifests. And then comes pain. Non-Stoics would grieve heavily upon their separation from what gave them happiness. But that should not be the case for Stoics. Greek cynic Diogenes, who influenced Zeno's philosophy of Stoicism, stated that we should be indifferent when pleasure vanishes. These are the people who love their spouses deeply, but are aware that the relationship may come to an end, either through death or other misfortunate happenings. These are the people who celebrate their successes silently, because they know that life occasionally drives us to fail. Stoics believe that it is wiser to be rational than to be emotional, because they keep a close proximity to reality. Author Brian Yee compiled these Stoics' tools for a better life. The first and most common is negative visualization, wherein an individual imagines the loss of what they put a lot of importance into, until they do not fear it happening anymore. Because despite our authentic efforts to prevent bad things, they happen. He also stated that Stoics only worry about what they can control. Apparently, the only reason for dissatisfaction is the false belief that we can do something in all situations, when in reality, there are only a handful of things that we can control, which is why we should also utilize the third and final tool, separate ourselves from our ideals by acknowledging that we are only actors of fate's story, says Epictetus. That might sound cliche, but being one with reality is what actually helps the Stoic to keep themselves together, whether they are faced by immense amount of pleasure or heavily damaging pain. In summary, Stoics only care about what matters most. Contrary to the misconception that they are all pain and no pleasure, they take both of these emotions, appreciate and experience them, with the honest expectation that life is a roller coaster ride with no permanent ups or downs.